with an update on this storm. This is, it's a pretty active ice storm. A lot of people in Greenbay, Appleton, Oshkosh, Manitowoc, it's just been a really cold rain where rain has been falling now off and on for a day and a half, but temperatures have been between 32 and 35, so we haven't seen the bad icing problems. Over the Northwoods, we have seen icing problems, and it continues. The good news here is the icing is about done. We're going to switch over to snow, and then things will improve as we head into tomorrow. So I'm going to back that up. So ice storm warning continues until 7 p.m. Northern sections of our area, including Door County, but basically Wapaka into Shawano and Oconto County and northward. It is an ice storm warning until 7 p.m. And then after that, from 7 o'clock tonight until 4 o'clock in the morning, the entire area that's under the ice storm warning just transitions over to a winter storm warning. And I'll explain that in a moment. This could be an issue, especially with the ice that we have accumulated currently on trees and power lines, because we're going to now add snow to the mix and the wind is going to increase. So with Winter Storm Frannie, the icing is almost done. Jesse, did the audio sound okay? Great. Okay, so the audio issue is fixed today. So icing is almost done. We are going to switch over to snow this evening, and that's going to be a slow process kind of from northwest to southeast as we move between, say, 6 p.m. and about 10 o'clock tonight. Winds are going to increase. As the area of low pressure moves past, winds are going to kick up to near 35 miles per hour as we press through the overnight hours. So you're going to see pretty consistent gusty winds, 30, 35 miles per hour. Not an extraordinarily strong wind, but wind gusts to 35 miles per hour with frozen solid trees and frozen solid power lines over the Northwoods, that could really start to cause problems because you start swaying the trees with the ice on top of it and things are going to break pretty quickly. Right now, we have roughly 70,000 customers without power, and that's almost entirely over the northern and far western portions of our area. Now, with those 70,000 power outages, I was working numbers out, and it's about 1,300 power outages, like 1,300 power outages, but 70,000 customers with no power, and that is over the Northwoods. So a lot of people without power. Over the last hour, we've been seeing some big wet snowflakes, and then it goes back to rain at time, and then it comes back to some wet snowflakes at Sturgeon Bay camera. So we're watching Sturgeon Bay camera closely. The transition over to snow is going to be a slow one. It's going to take time because the area of low pressure has to move past, and we have to slowly transition into that colder air. 34 right now in Green Bay, and you can see it is just wet. But as temperatures drop tonight and we get some snow to fall into this wet ground, my concern is that we'll start to see some areas of icing. I don't think the roads are going to be all that terrible. What I think is going to be rough is like sidewalks, parking lots, things like that, driveways as we head into tomorrow morning, because everything's going to try to ice over overnight. 34 right now in Appleton. This is from our Fox Valley camera, our Fox Valley Bureau. So this is looking towards the Fox River Mall, and you can see the cold raindrops are trying to stick to that camera lens, and as temperatures drop, we're going to start to glaze some of that up. In Manitowoc, it's currently 34 degrees, and again, temperatures low 30s as it's been for the past day and a half, with these scattered cold rain showers moving through for much of the area. It's really north of Shawano, north of Oconto that we have been seeing most of the problems today, and that's where temperatures are 31, 32, 30 degrees. As we move into tonight, notice the colder air swinging in, and temperatures start dropping down into the probably upper 20s for the majority of the area, but that is enough to freeze the rain that we have been having around the area solid. And the areas that have been seeing ice, that ice might be soft because temperatures are right near 32 over the northern parts of the area. That ice is going to harden as temperatures drop and the winds kick up overnight. Right now, area of low pressure is near Milwaukee, and there's this little frontal boundary kind of wiggling out towards Toronto. They have seen terrible ice storm over the northern sections of the lower peninsula and the northern portions of our area. Very similar, basically very similar power outages from northern Wisconsin in the northern sections of the lower peninsula, and it's been really kind of rough around there throughout the day today. Right now, 63 at Chicago. We're at 34. 31 in Minneapolis, but you see the pocket of cold air around Lake Superior. That is going to swing southward once the area of low pressure kind of runs over into lower Michigan. So you see the center of circulation working over towards Traverse City. We're still seeing some freezing rain 6 o'clock tonight, especially in the northern parts of our area, but that transition to snow is working in from the west. So we'll see everything transition to snow, pick up a little bit of snow accumulation, especially between about 10 p.m. and about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning as the band of snow swings through. After 3 a.m., it's about done. Everything starts to move off towards the east. Then we just have to put the power back on northern parts of the area. Here's a look at Snow Tracker, indicating a mix of some freezing rain and sleet generally for the northern portions of the area. And as I mentioned, we have been seeing big wet snowflakes kind of sneaking in where the atmosphere gets cold enough. It's a process to transfer over, to go from rain to freezing rain to sleet to snow. Takes a little bit of time. It's a little sloppy in the middle as you're transitioning, but eventually everybody does go over to snow. Right now it is northern Oconto, southern Marinette County, northern sections of Menominee County, and a good chunk of Langlade County that's really seeing the messy weather at this point. Light scattered rain showers, especially through the Door Peninsula, Kewaunee County, and up into parts of Shawano County. But you move north and you have seen freezing rain over northern sections of the Door Peninsula, especially north of Sturgeon Bay. And then kind of a wintry mix around Marinette, Peshtigo, Wasaki. Townsend has mainly been freezing rain. Have heard a few reports of sleet over the Northwoods, but I think the radar is a little overdone with the sleet. It has mainly been freezing rain. But as you transition, you could see a little bit of that sleet mix in. The Future Track radar shows that snow batch kind of working through the area during the middle portions of the overnight. So look for the snow, especially between 10 p.m. tonight and about 3 o'clock in the morning. Very little in the way of ice left. Most of the ice from here forward is literally Anagote, Iron Mountain up into the eastern portions of the Upper Peninsula. So very little in the way of freezing rain from this point forward for our area. But again, that dropped out. So I'm going to back this up and we'll try to walk it through again. Maybe I can get it to stop. Let's see if that'll happen. Sometimes these computer models run so quick, it runs out towards the end of the model. All right, well, it's not going to play around with me, but generally 1 to 2 inches of snow for the majority of our area between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. I think that snow falls. We'll probably see 2 inches of snow fall, but it's falling onto wet ground, wet trees, wet streets, warm streets. So a lot of that is going to be melting on contact, and when the big snowflakes kind of mix with the water, you just end up with some slush. So I think we end up with slushy accumulations for much of the area. Far northern sections, you'll see maybe a 2 to 4 inch snow, where you're going to start to see a little more in the way of accumulation. So it's really these Northwood communities, say, oh boy, that's about Peshtigo over to about Gillett and northwest. That's where you're really going to see some of the snow try to stick. And that's also the area you've already seen the freezing rain. So because of that, the winter storm warning is in place. Far northern portions of the area. That starts at 7 p.m., runs until 4 o'clock in the morning. So keep that in mind. You're going to transition from these freezing rain and power outages to snow. And that's going to make streets very slick heading through the overnight and through the morning hours tomorrow, especially for the northern portions of the area. So we'll have a full update on Fox 11 News at 9 for the storm as it continues to move through. We have been seeing some just incredible pictures and video from the Northwoods and the northern portions of lower Michigan, also the eastern sections of the Upper Peninsula. We'll have all the rundown on that and the power outages around the state and the area. That's coming up on Fox 11 News at 9. Please join us for that, and that's when we'll have your next large update. Stay tuned to Fox 11, even on our YouTube channel, your station for severe weather coverage.